Hey everyone, so welcome to our seventh meetup of Software Testing Board. Uh, I'm your host Mayur Shah, and today's agenda for the meetup is first I'll be giving you the introduction about this meetup, uh, and also I'll be explaining you how to share your comment, question, or feedback so that uh, our speakers can answer your queries. So let me just present my screen. So after the introduction, I'll be conducting we'll be having our speakers giving the talk. So we have overview of BRD documentation for test automation estimation by Sanket, and what do QA or a tester leg by Sashank. So after the you guys can have a Q&A session with Sanket and Sashank, and after that I'll be explaining you about the software testing board's Q&A site and the meetup site, and post that we'll be going through the I'll be also explaining you how to be a speaker at the next meetup. Also we'll be going through the social media profile and our YouTube channel, and last we can also be giving the information on how you can contact us. So what is this meetup? So this is a completely online meetup. So earlier we used to have physical meetup where people will be from the different part of the city we used to come and join. We made it completely online. This is not a workshop or this is not a tutorial. This is completely a meetup. So other tester is giving you the overview or idea of what they are working on, what is trending things that they are working on. So this meetup happens on every fourth Saturday of the month at 5 p.m. IST. We'll be covering the introduction to new tools framework in testing industry, and we can we usually share the new ideas in the testing community. So how do you share the comments? So I'm pretty much sure that you'll be uh, watching me live on a YouTube. So in the YouTube you can see the chat box next to you. So if at all if you have any questions, you can put it in a chat box, and I'll be iterating that. I'll be reading that question to the speaker, and you can ask that question to the speaker. So today's first talk is on BRD document for test automation estimation by Sanket. Sanket is a software quality analyst, and he has completed 7+ project with value innovation. He's also into stand-up comedy. So he's currently working as a business process lead at TCS. For more, we have a link to his LinkedIn profile. You can directly contact him. So over to you, Sanket. You can take over. You can share your screen and you can share your uh, thoughts.
Yeah, thank you, Mayur. Thank you for introduction. So, just confirm once you are able to get my screen.
No, we are not seeing your screen. You can try sharing. Yes, we can see it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so today's topic is BRD document for test automation estimation. So, so everyone knows that BRD is a business requirement document where all the requirements for the new change as well as the requirement new requirement that we are need to uh, implement in the product are be a part of BRD, and BRD, which is designed by BA stakeholders and everyone looking at the business logic, everyone considers this as a Bible document for the proceedings. But I came up with a thought: why test automation engineers doesn't use BRD for their estimations or for their purpose? Uh, so I will go take you through a normal life cycle for test automation. So the traditional approach is when being a test automation engineer, everyone sees that functional QA design the test cases. Now the process goes like if there is any new change or new product is implemented, then functional QA get the BRD, then they create a test plan with respect to the test strategies, as well as they break downs into the test scenarios. Then they design the test cases. Once the critical, we can say smoke test as well as sanity and the critical functionality has been tested, then they design the regression test cases. Okay, so once the regression test suite has been designed, then that is handed over to the automation team member. Once the automation team member get the test cases, then SDET, that is software developer, development engineer in test, walkthrough of every test cases. Once the walkthrough has been completed, then it goes to the estimation and costing for the test suite. And after the estimation and costing, we give the ROI calculation as how many test cases we can automate, as well as how much efforts we need, what are the other parameters, what are the risk factor that are involved in that. Everything is considered in the last box. But here the pain point is software developer or the test engineer take and walk through to the entire test suite. So here I can give an example uh, like this one. So if you can see, is it visible?
Yes, I can. Yes, yes, it's visible.
Yeah, so orthodox estimation approaches. So you can see here there are around total 1,000 test cases for a regression suite. Now let's consider the orthodox estimation approach. So with the orthodox estimation approach, we design the estimation on the basis of complexity. So how the complexity distribution works. So now consider there are 1,000 test cases. Now someone wants to review the entire 1,000 test cases, then they might need to go through the each test case. They might need to take a walkthrough of the each test cases, as well as they have to find out the reusability factor from the previous test case as well as the further test case. Means it's the task of memorizing which components can be categorized as reusable, which components cannot be categorized as reusable, which how can we form the model based approach or how can we form the category based approach for the test automation. Because in test automation we don't design the test case individually, we try to design the test suite keeping the maintainability as well as reusability in mindset. So considering this is an approx distribution of the complexity. So considering the smallest complexity will take a 30% of the entire suite, medium will be having the large portion, that is 45, and the minimum will be the 25. So looking at these counts, we will get all these counts. So the total will be the 1,000 test cases. Now there will be 300, 450 for the medium, and complex there will be 250. Now there is always a setup a basic time per unit test case factor for each test case. So considering the small one will get a 4 hours for completion, 6 hours for the medium test case, and 10 hours for the complex test case. So considering this factor, we will have the total hours calculation. So once we get the total hours calculation, we will get the entire estimation hours for this total suit, and then we consider 8 hours per day. So once we consider 8 hours per day for uh, as a efforts calculation, keeping work index as one. So here work index as one is there are some organizations which keep work. There are some organization which keep productivity index. So all the resources may have the similar productivity index, or they might not have the similar productivity index. So if you have the similar productivity index, then it is calculated as 8 hours per hour, and you will be same productive as your peers. So considering that productivity index, we take 8 hours per day, and it will be the 518 days for the entire 1,000 test cases. But here this approach is taking you a longer day than the next approach, that is a considering BRD document. So how BRD document, how that BRD document approach works. So so as I already told, BRD is a document which consists what system has to do or what changes we are targeting in the next release. BRD can give overview of all the required functional flows in the system. So let's consider you have a we have one application as a login application. Then it is adding an product to the cart. Okay, so adding a product to the cart is a new functionality. Now once you get the BRD, you will have a product adding a product into cart as a requirement in the BRD, and we can break that requirement into the small scenarios. Here don't here our approach is not to consider the test case as a unit entity, but the consider the granular scenarios as a unit entity. So here BRD can help you to provide estimation and costing for the test automation in an effective way. Like if I have a adding product into the cart as a scenario, I will break down into a granular scenarios. So the granular scenarios can be clicking on add product button, then checking it whether it has been added to the basket or not, and proceeding with it. So entire this adding a product consider the entire scenario is considered as a uh, three scenarios. So we have a count of a three. So now when we try to implement this approach with the BRD approach. So consider there is an 1,000 test cases and we able to granularize the scenario as a 300 scenario. Why I am concentrating on the granularing scenarios rather than test cases? There are 1,000 test cases, but we know that all the 1,000 test cases will have repetitive steps. Now, if you go through from one test case to n test case, it is very difficult to memorize which are the similar scenarios and which are the different scenarios. So that time we consider each similar scenario as a single function. So you don't have to go as a functional part, like I will have a one scenario as a function at the time of test case walkthrough. Just consider all the scenarios, make sure those scenarios are the most granular ones, make sure those scenarios will not be a part of another major scenario. For an example, consider your granular scenario as an atom which cannot be more divided into the another part. Once you able to consider your scenario as a single granular scenario, then you will able to understand the entire approach for the BRD estimation. As well as if you able to get this count, then you can consider this count as a total requirement or the total entity that you are going to automate. So once you able to get all the granular scenarios, so when I say there is a granular scenario, that means each scenario is equivalent to your small complexity part, because that's why we are converting the scenarios into granular. Means of simple flow, like clicking on the add button, click adding it to the basket, this will be a two scenario. So each simple scenario will be your granular scenario, which is equivalent to our this case, that is the smallest one. So still we are still here we consider the 4 hours per unit, but here we consider 6 hours per scenario. So once you consider 6 hours per scenario, you will have the 18 hours of estimation. So once you have 18 hours of estimation, the calculated days per 8 years per 8 days are 2 to 5. Here you can see the total days were 518, and here with the BRD scenario BRD approach, the total days are 2 to 5. So this way granularizing your scenario, breaking it in a smaller chunks and automating them will always help you to reduce the time complexity and give you a better estimation for the test automation. As well as I have seen, like once you able to granularize the scenario and design the function specific to each scenario, there will be some test cases which are like, so if I say I have the one test case which is like login, add product, take basket, and submit. Now I will have another test case which will be login, sorry my bad, add product, delete product, and submit. Now you can see that when when you are giving the comparison or the complexity for the each test case, you are not counting on the basis of scenario, you are counting on the basis of test case. But when you give the estimation on the basis of BRD, you are counting this one as a one part, this one as a one part, this one as a two part, this one as a one part. Now our total scenario will be 1 2 3 4 and 5. Okay, now once you automate this 5 scenario, you can effectively use them in a third test case. So the third test case is login, add product, review product, take lower price product, add product, take basket, submit. Okay, so now you can consider this login is common here, it is common here, it is common here. Add product is common here, it's common, it's common here, it's common here. So once you're able to automate the scenarios, you will effectively automate the test cases. So this time you are not in headache or not in confusion how to automate the entire test case. You can effectively just pull the function specific to the scenario and be and consider it as a part of test cases. And the next problem that I got is test cases are written keeping the functional team in mind. Like test cases are mostly time the test cases are not written as a automation perspective, but they are written as per the functional perspective. So although these test cases are written for the functional perspective, you must understand what the test case is saying and how can you automate that test case with the BRD scenario approach. Okay, so considering the test cases is not written the way the automation engineer will design the test cases, but you must make sure what is the purpose of test case, how the test case is how the test case is validating the scenario. And once you're able to understand that scenario, so you can directly plug and play your all the granular design scenario in the test case. So this not only reduce your effort, but it also scale scale up your test cases for um, uh, for the entire product also. Means next time when there is an functionality change or when there is a new functionality added, then you no need to worry about automating the entire test case. You just need to take care of what new scenarios you need to add, or and how new scenarios you can directly plug and play into the entire test case or the new test case. Okay, so this is all from my side. Anyone having any question, so can drop message.
Hey, Sanket, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. So I'll just look into YouTube. Hey guys, anybody have any question? You can always ask in a YouTube chat any comment or anything you want to discuss or anything for Sashank. Sanket, you can always put it in a YouTube live chat. Let me just share my screen. So we have a live chat here. You can always use that to ask a question. So we'll wait for a few minutes, a couple of minutes, and if you have any question, you can always post it here for Sanket. He gave a very wonderful presentation on a BRD documentation. All right. So it looks like we are good. Okay. Okay. So there is a question from Jigar Sony. He's asking how to differentiate the scenario.
Okay. Yeah. So, first thing we need to understand what is the scenario. Okay, scenario, it can be any functional flow from A to B, or B to A, or A to C, or A to D, or D to C. Any single functional flow can be considered as a scenario. Why I am enforcing on the scenario? Because consider there is an agile project that is going on. In agile project there is an functionality which is there for the sprint one. So you automated that functionality, keeping the test case as a unit entity. So you design the entire test case, and you automated that functionality. Next time that functionality is removed, so at that time you need to remove the entire test case. Okay. Yeah, it's good approach to segregate your test cases which are not going to not going to be a part of next sprint regression execution. But if that functionality is going to change, then you need to automate that functional flow again. So rather than automating the entire functional flow, you must automate the single functional flow, so that if the entire new change functional flow having the four functional flow which can be different, so that you can segregate which of the four functional flow can be moved out, or which of the four functional flow need to be a part of that test case. So a single functional flow from A to B can be considered as a scenario.
Got it. It's a great question. Hey Jigar, so I hope you got your answer. Any other question you have, feel free to post it here. Any other question, comment, any feedback? Hey Sashank. Okay, so we'll move on to our next presentation. Thank you, Sanket, for a wonderful presentation.
Yeah,
Uh,
welcome
yeah.
Amir.
So next presentation is on what QA or tester lag. That is by Sashank, and he is working as a quality analyst in Century Software Limited. I'm sorry for wrong info here. More you can read it from his LinkedIn profile. That is available. The link is available uh, on the presentation, and he's currently working as a functional test plan management. He's doing test plan management. He's working into functional testing, agile methodology. So any question that you have, you can always uh, ask him directly through his LinkedIn profile. So over to you, Shashank. You can give your presentation. You're on mute, Shashank. If you just want to unmute it.
Hello.
Yeah. Hey, Shashank.
Hi. Am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible, and you can share your screen.
Yeah. Thanks, Sanket. Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks, Sangeet, for a wonderful presentation, and thanks, Mayu, to presenting us such a amazing time for showcasing such kind of thing. Right now. I'm going to share my screen. Okay.
Sure.
Visible now? Screen.
No, not yet. Yes, we can see your screen now.
I can. Is it visible now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, fair enough. Let's start the basic things of what QA or tester lacks. Basically, what we learned in our 12 plus 4 education streams, be it engineering, be it MCA, just like I did, we have been taught by our faculty that development, every development. We don't know what kind of development we are going to do. We have been just that we have to do write the so much piece of those lines of code every day or according to module. The lack is communication. Be it communication with peers, communication with colleagues, management, and senior management. Because I came from directly BA domain, which is direct domain with senior management. I came from where the key stake were a junior resource or mid-level manager or top-level manager. So I basically think communication with any tester is part of anything. So before I start with, this is my first slide where what QA lacks is passion, communication, able to make fail application, analytical and technical skills, domain skill set, having different skill set, and hunger for knowledge. I think this is the key down the line 3 plus of experience which I face many of my QA friends what they are facing in their current career and fellow QAs in my current organization. The first one is passion. Basically, if you see the our SDLC process, the testing comes under I think second last process after before a maintenance testing comes, and again it is important in our education system saying that development is more money if you say the package wise, and testing has the less. When I joined corporate, I chose testing because you have to have the passion for making what kind of product you are making. Okay, if for example, if I give my example from Apple, what kind of product they are delivering? They are delivering one product in entire year, but the product when it comes to market, it is the one of the best of application. So one of the best thing being a tester, you have to have the passion. And the point is why testing as a career, why not development or any organization? Being a tester, you have to deal with a lot of people, like from junior resource to your manager, from your manager to lead, from lead to dev manager, team lead, any of and sometimes you have to communicate with your developers. And when bugs come in my upcoming slides, I will tell you when bugs come at a critical stage, then how you communicate over email. Sometimes I prefer for more communication rather than email. I know it's being out of the box, but you have to because you don't have time to write so much email and we have to fix the bugs. So I focus on fix the bugs rather we can write them email. So the first slide is passion, and another one is rather than application we have to think of the product, what kind of product we are going to land up the market. If you don't have the passion enough to going to the Monday morning office that I'm going to find one of the best bug if possible, then how am I going to treat that particular bug and how I'm going to fix that scenario, how I'm going to write the test cases or test scenario. Doesn't matter your test cases, doesn't matter, just write it down with a screenshot explanation with the proper email, proper everything, putting every people in the loop and sending to the developer and sitting with them and fix the bug as soon as possible. That kind of passion should be there. It's not like that Monday morning again it is Monday, from the Thursday, Friday and Saturday I should work in Monday. It's not like that. People should have enough energy to work from Monday to Friday. And Friday when I see people, they used to have a nice smile on the face because they think that Friday came, I don't need not to work tomorrow. It's not like that. Be it development, be it testing, you have to have enough energy to work on your profile. Credentials should be enough energy to work on Mondays. Your Mondays is as good as your Friday. Don't let your passion to demolize in order to in order to gain something. Okay, so have passion towards your testing is as good as development. In the later stage you will grow as much as you can. Next slide is communication. That's what this is one of the most utmost factor of everything. So whenever when I started my career, I used to report to my senior managers. I was very fearless person that I need not. Frankly speaking, I was very reluctant to write mails. And believe me, mailing is one of the important part of any business domain or any insurance, any domain, mailing put you one of the best impact on your managers, on your superiors, or anything. Because when you write a mail, it will be not a, it will be tracked as a recording for any kind of audit purpose. If you're writing effective mail, it will help to the developers to fix as soon as possible. And if you are writing, putting enough technology, enough document you are providing along with your mail, it will help to the developer to fix the thing as soon as possible. Because if you're working in a offshore people, their language communication is differently as compared to our people. So if you are providing us enough screenshot, any document, enough process flow, then it will one of the best. In a single go, you can easily communicate with them, communicate with the developer, and it will help you in your works. Okay. Testers to know how to communicate with the development team along with the dev lead or the manager. For example, if I'm a tester, I should know which particular module along with what kind of error is coming. It's not like normal communication, normal English should not be there. The thing enough technicality issue. What kind of testing when what kind of bug I found it, what kind of testing. For example, if I'm doing regression, so I should write that I am focusing this on regression testing, not the one I am testing another again and again. This kind of language, this kind of thing should be enough. And try to use as much as technical terms in your communication. Because technicality, that's what we are going for it. Okay, we are communicating with the developers. We are developing. We are communicating with the testers. We should not write this kind of language. For example, I'm doing again and again. This process flow has been broken. No, it's not like that. When you are communicating with development testing team or your colleague or superior, try to maintain the technicality. Reason being, when you are communicating with the technicality, it is it is helpful to you to understand first. Second, it is helpful to the technical members because they know much more technicality. It will help them to understand. You are not communicating with the business minded people, their English will be good. If you are communicating with them, try to write
Shashank,
then
this is Mayur here. Your voice
so
is breaking a lot and it's not at all audible.
yeah. Okay. Can you help whenever this kind of thing comes? Just tell me up because I
Yeah,
don't know where from where the people will unable to understand. Okay. Am I audible now?
yes, it is audible, but then it's breaking a lot in between.
Because there's a thing like that in background. I'm seeing
Okay,
nothing
we'll do it
going.
this way. You can just be on audio. I have your presentation, so I can share it from my end.
Oh, that is slide you were saying.
Yeah, the slide I'll share it from my end. You can just
Okay.
give the presentation on that.
Okay. So shall I come to the this one hangout, please?
No, no, no. Stay on Hangout. Okay, just stop
Okay.
sharing your screen. So you'll not have much of load from your side. Maybe if because of network, you can just stop
Yeah.
sharing your
But
screen.
I need that screen at least. Okay, just a minute. I have stopped the sharing. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, got it. Am I on?
yeah, you're audible
Now is
now.
it okay? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Okay, so what
just
I, yeah,
give me a moment. I'll just bring up your presentation. Hey guys, sorry for the inconvenience. I'll just so we were on communication, right? Second screen.
yeah, second screen only. Yeah.
Okay,
Slide number 6.
sure. Okay, I'll start sharing my screen so hope everybody can see that. Okay, so you can continue, Sashank.
Yeah. So, what I was saying in the slide that whenever you're communicating with your technical team, just try to be stick on technicality with enough, enough technical content rather than going for business thing. Try to integrate technicality along with business thing. Don't go for an entire, entire business or entire technicality. Because when we end of the day we are dealing with business. When business comes into picture, technicality as a business thing has to be in the proportion, right? And for example, if you are communicating with the superior, they don't know what is when load testing. They don't know the meaning of stress testing, right? So you have to, being a tester, you have to come to their language, and you have to explain in the particular syntax scenario where they can easily able to understand over a mail. Face to face it is easily explainable, but when it comes to mail, people are reading a mail. So it is as simple as that to communicate in their language, going for mean technicality. When you are communicating with the dev team or production team or any other team, just stick to technicality. But when you are communicating to business people, stick to the business technicality. Don't be in a position to write entire technicality stuff into business thinker, because they don't know the business they don't know the technicality entirely. Okay, this is one thing. And communication, you have to be on your front foot of when it comes to communication, whether you speaking with your colleague, your superior, your manager, senior manager, or mid-level management, or in fact client. You have to be in sound in communication. When communication fails, you don't know what kind of communication. If communication fail, you don't know what kind of bug reporting you are going to give, what kind of explanation you are going to give when bug comes in picture, or bugs comes into production level or UAT level, right? So this is one of the utmost factor of any tester, where generally tester lags along with developers. The next thing is this one, able to make fail. Again, is in this particular slide, what I am trying to say is, try whenever you test the application, don't think that you are tester, rather think a person who don't know how to use the application. Because end of the day, if you think from that particular user perspective, you are going to make enough mistake. And when you are doing enough mistake, you have the probability of getting one of the best project from one of the best product. End of the day, we have to deliver. Being a tester, we have to deliver that. We have to deliver one of the best product in market, irrespective of what comes to in picture, irrespective how much communication you are doing with, how much developers, testers, managers, whoever it comes to picture. But when it comes to able to make a fail, you have to think from you have to think from a user perspective, not the tester's perspective. You have the brain of tester, but you have to eye open user. Okay, and moreover, you have to think from client perspective, what kind of people you are dealing with. For example, you could be a layman to a highly sophisticated person. You have to think from that perspective. How can they make what kind of failure they can make in the application when it into production environment. Okay, what kind of a highly sophisticated person can, what kind of what is. For example, if I'm going to narrate a real time scenario, when Steve Jobs was assessing iPhone, one of the iPhones, lady of 70 years old, she told that I can't read the font typography which is there in the iPhone, right? So the day when Steve Jobs read the particular mail, he told his engineers to make his font as simple and as um, update and bigger in size, so that old people can read that particular, young people or any other in particular age group. So it has to be one of the best products, so that people will love your product. Okay, the user interface, the backend processing, it has to be simple and sophisticated in order to make the application. And in due course, if you're making thousands of failure, you have to do it. In due course, you make your relationship with developers, with testers, your dev managers, your superior. You are going to make your relationship worse. That's okay, because end of the day, it's people. We are dealing with people who are using your application, right? So if in due course, because I have faced in my 3 years of career, I have faced a lot of criticism, lot of a lot of issues from my not superior dev managers, developers, senior developers, that this is not a bug, this is a user interface issue. For me, everything is the same, because I treat my issues as a people's issue. And if I'm going to give the best of best application, then I have to see this kind of challenges, and this is one of the biggest challenges. People challenges is one of the biggest. So you have to make your product fail. You have to speak to the people who are responsible for making the application, right? So this is one of the critical thing we have to make it. And another which I am, if you can just if you can see the slide number second last, third and fourth, never ever compromise with your product. Okay. For example, when developer says that this fix has been gone, and you check your UAT, and we are go with production. Never ever check in one single go. You have to make multiple checks. You have to think from user, just like I say earlier. You have to check multiple times. You have to think from their perspective, user's perspective, how they are thinking, what they are saying, what their mind will be go, and what kind of issues they can face in the real time. Go for responsive checking, go for multiple checks, go for multiple scenarios check. You are not going to check in one single go that this bug has been cleared by developer, and I'm going to check this one, and in 5 minutes, and this is gone, and we are ready to move this production environment and ready for live. No, it is not going to happen. Being a tester, you have the responsibility of the product. Quality of product is the ultimate goal of any tester. Okay, you have to check multiple times, irrespective of whoever the person it is. Inside the office, you have the another tester and developer relationship, but outside you have to maintain it. So this is one of the best thing what I learned. One of the another thing is analytical and technicality skills. When you come to analytical skills, people earlier what people thinking that tester's job is to find from 9 to 5 job is check the bug, what kind of bug is giving in UAT environment, and make the log of it, and really and just drop a mail or put the issues in bug tracking environment and just go to home. It is not like that. You have to, if one issue is continuously coming in five different ways, then it is high time to check the functionality, check the process, how it is giving multiple times, make the record of it, make the data of it, see what kind of data set I'm using, and how it is going multiple issue, multiple environment is the same kind of issue. Make the data of it, give study the analytical reason. Okay, then only you can find the root cause of that particular issue, and later it will be helpful. Later it will be a biggest asset for us, because once you find the root cause of it, multiple times people what say people don't make the documentation. If you make the root cause of thing with proper documentation, then you will be in a scenario you will be in a scenario that you in it won't it won't cause issues again in multiple times, right? Once you fix the root cause of thing, even though if you are doing regression testing, it will be the same. So analytical skill along with technicality skill should be there. And when it comes to technicality skill, we all know that we are moving to in a stream where automation comes to in picture, right? So if you maximum thing what I'll see from the Naukri, not Naukri, basically LinkedIn side, maximum people who are into having much more experience like 10 plus, 5 plus, they are having stuck in the thing called as manual testing, and they are not moving to technical thing. So if you are stuck somewhere, just try to learn, try to update yourself. That will be the best part. If you are not update yourself, someone will overtake from you, and they will lead the game. So analytical skill as well as technical skill will go both hand on hand to any tester, right? So my next slide will be that what I'm saying, reviewing the testing. Being a tester, you have to have the technicality skill. You have to have the design sense of any writing the code. Even if you are not able to write the code, just take the help from any Java developer or Selenium or any .NET guy for QTP application. Try to learn from them. I know from 9.5 hours, no one going to work all 9.5 hours. 30 minutes is more. Put 30 minutes every day till 5 days, and put out of weekends, just invest 2 or 3 days, not 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 hours every day. Then only you can easily update yourself and enhance your technicality skills. It will help to your career growth, and day by day it is capturing the market. Manual skill is okay, but what about the regression phase? Regression one of the utmost important, right? So you have to have the analytical skill, you have to have the technical skill. That is for compulsory. You can't neglect those things, those kind of things. My third skill is domain skill. When it comes to testing with domain skill, for example, myself as BFSI domain guy. BFSI means banking, financial, insurance. So I have to be specialization in banking, finance, or insurance. For example, I have specialization in insurance. So I know what kind of process flow it will go from taking the insurance to at the end of the day, the entire backend process, how they communicate, how the process flow goes back to back. So you have to have the domain skill. If you don't have any domain skill, then again you how you going to find the process flow or issues or bug defect, whatever it comes to a technicality. You can't find out the bug you if you don't have enough domain skill. Domain it will be one of the best asset for tester, because testing with domain skill, it will be a very large virtue. If you go for any senior level down the line, 10 plus or 12 plus experience, so it will be helpful. It will be an experience that I know something called as the insurance domain. So it will take to the upstage, and it will be showcase my talent. So one has to be in a sound domain skill along with technical testing skill. It will help to the read the people's mind, the people who are using the application. You have to think from that perspective. And if you have sound domain skill, you are on the go. You have to have the domain skill as well. And when it comes to different skill set, being a tester, earlier what we think, being a tester, you have to find the bugs. But nowadays the trend is, being a tester, you have to have kind of auto regression. You have to write the regression code. You have to sometimes go for business analyst profile, just like I was doing in earlier case, starting my career, business analyst. Sometimes writing the scenarios, writing the test cases, testing from UAT environment, testing from operational acceptance testing. I was doing the production support every time. So I have to one have to open for every kind of challenge. You can't say, being a tester, I have to find the bug only, bug only, bug only. It is not like that. You have to read to the client also. You have to speak to the client what kind of application they want. You have to see the end product. You have to meet the people what kind of product they need. You can't say you can't find bug every time. Being a seniority, you have to take the toughest call. You have to see the what kind of priority call you are going to take. And utmost important, we have to take the behavior call. For example, if issues occurs, what kind of how you are going to help those particular issues along with bug. If the bug is escalated to developers, and it is busted in somewhere in production environment, how are you going to fix this kind of issue? How are you going to handle client issue? All kind of management skill, not only technicality or tech issue, but managerial or people's issues, right? So this is one of my best things. What we call as hunger for knowledge. People should being anything. This is in general. People, whoever it is, developer, tester, management, senior manager, or any kind of people who are involved in software development, they have to have the hunger for knowledge. For example, we are living in a agile world, which is changing every day, every moment. So we can't stick on one particular skill set. We have to be very fast enough. We have to be learn every day, every technology, whatever comes to in the market. Just like Mark Cuban said, when he was in one of the toughest time, and still what he is doing is, he used to take out 3 hours from his busy schedule, and he used to you know learn what kind of software is coming up to the market. 3 hours every day, just imagine. And our own Warren Buffett, he used to read 7 newspaper early morning. So that's that passion, that knowledge comes to end. And we can't stay. We once in a senior position, we thought that we are having a senior position, we have ample money with them, ample CTC we have. We are not going to study. It is not like that. One has to give push. One has to have knowledge. I know it is not possible having 30 35 plus age, and having senior position, or like working 12 hours in office 5 days down the line. It's not possible, but you have to push yourself in order to grow up. Who knows, from your junior might take over your place. It might happen. And if you are not learning then how are you going to fix the bugs? How you read the people's mind? How you going to, handle client issues, right? So you have to have the knowledge, right? So for example, if we see, knowledge could be anything: domain, technical development, sometimes human resource, each and everything. You can't stay alone, and try to update as much as possible. Try to make communication connection in LinkedIn, over LinkedIn. Try to, generate issues on LinkedIn. If you are facing any technicality, try to, learn as well as earn certification. Don't think certification is a one page certification that you are certified from XYZ technology, but the process is one of the best things. Try to learn the process as much as possible. And this is my thing. This is my last slide, and I hope you enjoy the session. And any questions? Hello, hello, hello.
Hey Sashank, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. My
Okay,
presentation is over.
great. So there is one
Mayur,
question.
Mayur,
Yeah,
can you put this one on your slide, please? This is my ID, just in case. Not this one, not this one. But, this one, I think. Can I share mine? Can I share mine?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
sure. Just
Okay,
is it audible? Yeah, tell me. Yeah.
you can carry on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You told now one question is there. Just please give me the question.
Yeah. So that question is from my this question from me for now.
Yeah,
So what I want to ask is like as you said that having a knowledge on a domain is really a plus.
yeah,
That is really required. So do we have any certification or do you recommend any certification to
yeah,
acquire?
yeah. Sorry for that. See, what I think is, being a QA, you have to have domain knowledge. For example, I just now told in presentation that I myself having 3 plus experience in BFSI domain, insurance domain. So certification do play one of the best part. See, certificate end of the day, when you complete your education, you will be given the one certificate that Mayur or Shashank has been completed for XYZ classes, right? That matters only in CV. It looks good in CV, but when you prepare for the examination, it will take a lot of time. Because I am myself, when I was preparing for ISTQB CTFL, I flunked. I agreed I flunked, but I know the terminologies, many terminologies which we are not using as a tester in our corporate.
Right.
Okay, for example, what is meant by dry testing? What is meant by wet testing? Okay, I don't know I forget those kind of full form of those particular things. Okay, when you are saying that certification is good, I just want to make one thing. Can I put this one on this one? Uh,
Yeah. Please go ahead.
I'm writing this one. Okay. This VC is Government of India certified body. Okay, along with NCT New Delhi. This is Government of India and NCT Delhi collaboration, and it is very reasonable price. So somewhere 400 4,000 down the line, including GST and all. You can go for it. And I'm myself preparing for Selenium automation.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. So, amazing site, and many other sites there like Coursera, and I think Coursera and various other sites is there. I forgot the name. Okay, such kind of sites are there, so one can easily access those things and uh, just. So I will go for, if you are having, if I recommend on a personal basis, I think VC is one of the best, because the kind of content they have given for Selenium, to be precise, because I'm myself preparing, is down the line is very basic, and it is very crucial for any tester, right? Okay, I just now got it, like Udemy and Edureka, and Studios Point. Especially this one is one of the best W3 schools for SQL learning and everything.
Right.
Yeah,
So basically, what I'm saying is there are plenty of
yeah,
sites
best.
available online. All we need is just have to go and grab the knowledge
Yeah,
and make use of it.
yeah, because what I say suggest is I saw people who are very down the line 4 years 6 years down the line and they don't have any enough certification. Certification is good on paper when you are going for hiring. That is clear enough that people will hire only those who are certified. But
Right.
on the when you are learning anything after giving 8.5 hours in office and coming back to learning 1.5 hours of academics, it takes a hell lot of time. Sometimes you can't give your personal space also. But this will help you out in later stages. Because I
Yeah.
myself 3.5 years of experience, I'm still sacrificing my weekends over what do you call certification. I'm learning. I'm learning like anything.
Okay.
So that's what I want to suggest. Yeah, tell me.
Great. So that's a great
Yeah.
insight. That's a great advice as well.
Yeah.
Uh, Not seeing any more questions from any. Okay. So we have a question from Jayati, and she's
Okay.
asking, what should we do if you want to switch from one domain to other domain? That's a good question.
Okay. Domain space. Okay. Can I have let's say for example I'm into BFSI domain, right? Into insurance domain and I want to go for telecom domain. First of all, you have to have if your experience matters. For example, if you have down the line 3 years of experience and it is very less, and if you want to go to telecom domain, for example, I took telecom domain, then you have to have what kind of telecom telecom domain. You have to learn that domain first of all on handy. You have to meet people with who are in LinkedIn. You have to search what kind of via internet, what kind of people who are working on telecom domain, and you have to gain as much as knowledge as possible. Because moreover, what I saw the job description when they hire for any employee to employ, they specifically need the knowledge. Okay, there will be chances my CV might not get shortlisted, but I have some knowledge. And what will happen? What happen? Big MNC like TechM or any other same 500 same level 5 company, they have multiple projects. If you try to switch one of those projects, or if you try to have word with their managers, what kind of practices they are doing. Generally, what we think from my side, what I'm saying is, we generally don't talk to our people, from other team or other members. We think our desk is one of the full and soul for that, and we don't want to go further. You have to have make people from other domain, other managers, what they are learning. If you are, for example, in my company, people are learning for machine learning. People are there from Hadoop development. I used to, in my spare time, I used to hang out with them. I used to learn from them what kind of technology which is helpful for machine learning. What is there in Hadoop technology? What is the entire architecture? What is the difference between developer, Hadoop developer, and Hadoop architecture? Okay, if she's working for any big MNC, yes, they have multiple projects. Try to involve one of those projects directly or indirectly because it is her call. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good advice. Thank
Yep.
you, Sashank. Any
Yep.
other question for Sashank, guys, who's online? Sanket, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Hey, Sanket. So, after when Sashank started a session, we had a couple of questions for you. So, first question is from Maheshwari Mahi, and she's asking like, uh, what is the scenario? Does that mean group of test cases?
Okay, so actually the test case itself have a granular scenarios, and the granular scenarios are grouped together to form a test case. Okay,
Okay.
so we can say that the test case is a set of granular scenarios, but here the approach is to not look a test case as a unit entity, but look as a granular scenario as a unit entity for the test automation estimation app. Okay, so if I have the chat window open, so the exact answer is yes. Granular scenarios, the set of scenarios can be a single test case. A entire scenario, I can't say a group of test cases. It's a vice versa that I am saying.
Hmm.
The set of scenarios can be a single test case.
Right. Okay. So, next question is from Atul Jain, and he's asking, how can we decide automation complexity?
Okay. So automation complexity, just I will give you one example. So automation complexity, to calculate the automation complexity, there is no any such handbook, or we can say guidebook.
Okay.
Okay. So I had this question I asked in recent Quanta meetup that is in Globant. So I asked the Europe and Asia head for the test automation that what is the best approach for test automation estimation, and how can we define the complexity. So their only answer is to not go on any specific approach, because it fairly depend upon how we look at the problem statement. So how can we decide the automation complexity? So what I will say, understand the business logic, understand the purpose, what the test case is trying to validate, or understand the scenario, what is trying to perform. Once you try to understand the scenario, then understand how it is feasible. There are two type of feasibilities here. One is a technical feasibility, and second one is a functional feasibility. So when I came across the functional feasibility, it says that it's really functionally tedious to perform that scenario. That is the functional feasibility. That way you can understand, is it really feasible to automate, or it should be a automation candidate, and and that also add a valid point for calculating its complexity, like how many steps I need to perform for this scenario. Is it really complex? It is really taking too much of round and round approach. So that way you can count its functional feasibility or functional complexity. Then comes as a technical complexity. So sometimes we look, okay, there is an web form, there are 50 objects, we can directly click on them and add the objects to it, and it will be easy. That time it's the functionally feasible thing. Functionally it's very easy. You can directly press tab into the keyboard and just fill the form. But sometimes it become technically not feasible, because we don't get the object. We have the stealth exception. We got stealth exception, as well as the objects are hidden. Sometimes few objects are depend on another object, like if I want to specify my gender. So if I select gender, then there will be appearance of two radio button, male female. So there are some dependent objects. So understand the scenario, then decide the complexity. Don't look at the test case and decide the complexity.
Got it. So there is one more question from Vanky. He's asking like, how do we skip the test cases in Selenium? Uh, I'm not sure that who he posted this
How do
question to.
we keep?
Uh, Test cases in Selenium.
uh, i'm not
Sashank,
really
even if
getting I'm
Yeah,
not really getting about this question, how to skip test case in Selenium. But
anyone of you know, you can answer that.
I can answer this. Or I can answer this.
Sure, sure.
Basically, see, test case, we can skip those test cases which is not stable. For example, generally we don't take those test cases which is highly agile. For example, user interface. You can't automate or you can't regrade the user interface because that is continuously changing. Unless generally the thumb rule for any automation is the test case should be free. Okay, the test case should be free, and there is no further requirement. If either of these two are not satisfied, you can't make it out. Simple. You
Got it.
have, for example, what I did in my past, which in my current project is they are working for one application from last 1.5 years. As soon as I joined, due to my technical skill, I took the lead without anyone's intervention, and I start automatic automation. At the end of the day, when my project manager says that what are you doing, Then I simply told, sir, this is my automation script and this is how I was automating. Because that user interface was freezed. What was changing inside the application? For example, somewhere double click is not working. Then I can't make it out that particular thing happened via automation. Somewhere link is not working. Somewhere logout is working properly. So I can check those who are working, those who are not working. Especially the user interface, if it is not stable, you can't further go for automation. And those are the one of the two basic principles. Your test case should be freeze, and your there is no function, no further add-ons from client side or any other side. So this is the thing I think. This is the answer I guess.
All right. So what he's asking is how do we? So if you're asking technically, then I would like to answer that. Technically, if you want to skip the test case in Selenium, we simply don't include it into a test suite.
Yeah.
So maybe like you'll be using XML to automate your test suite. So that time, or if you're using any class to call the test cases, what we usually do is simply ignore the test case and we don't even include that test case into your class or XML test suite, and then that test case doesn't simply execute. So that's how we typically skip the test cases in Selenium. I
Mhm.
hope that answer your question, Venkat. Okay, so we have next question that is from Ashish Kumar, and he's asking how quality of bugs affect on a staging to live environment. So anybody of you can take this question.
See, what I want to give the answer. What Ashish asked one of the best questions. For
Sure.
example, what we do, what kind of testing we are doing. We are doing two kind of testing. For example, in developers machine, that is white box testing and black box testing in testers environment. And somewhere down the line, UAT environment, right? So we know six kind of testing that uh, develop if developer machine is working, then they are going to send to QS machine, and further we are testing. For example, I want to take when I was into Android-based application project, we are testing in the Wi-Fi environment, company's Wi-Fi environment. Company's Wi-Fi environment means you will get a hell lot of signals, everything you will get properly. But when it goes when the thing is gone to production and released to the market, the same thing start not it is not working properly. Even it was 4G Wi-Fi properly. The main thing the issues that started when it's for payment. It was crashed like anything. Thrice the amount was deducted in client's account, and it was like anything disaster. It was nightmare for me. So testing in one environment which is stable and testing in another environment which is not stable, it will be have impact. And there's one saying in testing, you can't make 100% bug free application. Recently you might have seen that in WWDC this year that I think Tim Cook's face was not recognized. I think iPhone X that functionality. So this kind of issue might happen, and you are not clearly guaranteed that this kind of issue we are giving 100% pure application bug free. Things will be gonna hamper because you don't know which kind of people on what kind of network they are using. Some we are using 2G, 3G, and 4G and Wi-Fi. But if you have tested in your environment 3G, not 3G, Wi-Fi and 4G, then who are going to take the call? This kind of thing that's maybe the answer I guess for Ashish Kumar.
All right. Thank you, Sashank, for taking the question. Uh, and thank you, Ashish, for the question. Anybody have any question, comment, feedback? Feel free to put it on a chat box. And guys, Sanket, Sashank, even if you have question for each other, feel free to discuss it here.
Yeah, I can. You can.
Great,
No, from my side.
great.
Yeah, same here.
All right. So, anybody have any question? Still, you can put it in the live chat here. We'll be around for like 5 to 10 minutes. Uh, okay. So we got a new question from Mahesh Patil. He's asking how to skip test cases in Selenium in my project. I have to select different currencies multiple time. So common test cases can be combined over there. over there. Okay, so this is his little technical here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what I'm understanding from here is how so you want to select multiple different currencies at a multiple time. So uh, there will be some test case which are based on the different currencies, like if there is a payment module where I want to pay the amount in dollar, where I want to pay amount in euro, or I need to pay amount in rupees, and I need to perform that transaction over and over again. So here I think yes, this scenario can be created can be created as generic functions. So what you need to do is design a function which will select the currencies and parameterize that function with the type of currencies you need to select, and that function can be a part of any test case. So whether it execute one time or n number of time, the only thing that is gonna change is the currency type. So parameterize that currency from the outside data source, and your issue will be resolved.
All right,
So if you have any doubt on this one, so please revert on chat.
great. Thank you, Sanket. Great solution. Mahesh, I hope your question was answered. If at all still if you have a question, you can post it. Okay, so Jayati is asking, can we have a domain specific session? Yes, we will definitely try to bring the speaker. Maybe Sanket, next time if you want to talk something about specific to domain that you are working on, uh, that is fine with us.
So I just want to add one more comment here. Like I have seen a situation where sometime only BFSI domain is mandatory in some what I say some organization, or only specific domain is required. So I will give you one good idea. Like see, sometime opportunity is not what knocks every time for you. You have to create opportunity, and you have to find opportunity for yourself. The opportunities doesn't mean you have to switch. I have seen people switching for an opportunity. I am not talking about that. So if there is an BFSI domain and you want to switch, and there is a mandatory BFSI domain, or you want to be a part of BFSI domain, so the more important is what you are trying to make a difference to learn in that, or what efforts you are putting in that. Like to have a BFSI domain knowledge, there are some certification what like a national stock exchange, that I think that organization have the certification for different products. Like there are some certification on derivative, there are some basic banking certification, there are some advanced banking certification. So if you can search for NEC certification, so you will get a range of certificates. So it's not about you someone will give you opportunity or wait for the knock. You must put your own efforts for getting that opportunity. Try to get certification for a specific BFSI. There are some certifications for a domain also, and the more good thing is they also include 2 or 3 sessions. They also give you the guides, the handbooks, so that you can get more details from those sessions also and appear for the exam. So I think go for the self certification. That would be a good idea.
All right, yeah, that's a sound good. That sounds
Yeah,
great.
I want to add what Sanket say is agree. I agree with him because I saw people, including myself, people like they want to switch X job to Y job because of domain specific and the kind of JD we used to put by recruiters or employers that they need especially BFSI domain. The objective is not BFSI domain. How much you have knowledge. If you, Jayanti asked, from one, if we can switch from one domain to another domain, why not? If you have enough knowledge, if you can justify yourself, if you have enough certified enough knowledge, why can't you go for one domain to y domain? For example, if I in my screen, I had just now I wrote National Institute of Insurance. I think nobody knows this one. This is the premium institute for insurance specifically. People are getting trained on in that particular institute from insurance domain. For example, if someone wants to go for domain specific on insurance, they can directly go to this particular institute and they can directly get certified, get learn from them. Then there never ever be a issue with learning. Only thing is our mindset. And I agree with Sanket what he told. We can conduct specifically insurance, specifically domain based. For example, if I know about how BFSI domain works, I can really help out them because BFSI typically works like one process to another process, and it will take a lot of call. For example, if someone raise a issue in technical issue, it will take 2 working days to fix up. By the time it will reach to the from developer, because it will go for business analyst, from business analyst to team lead, from team lead to dev, from dev it will go for development. It will take 2 or 3 working days, which is not possible in product development company or company like who have urgent requirement of urgent delivery, just like agile. What agile is doing, if you have an issue, fix it, test it, fix it, test it. It is not like that, na. So I am agree with what Jayanti says in the YouTube, that can we have session. I agree to that. We should have specific domain based, and it will be good if multiple domain. If you have on hands-on knowledge or enough knowledge to justify yourself or argue with like-minded people, so you have multiple set of knowledge, and you can share it later on like this particular profile.
All right. Okay. So, any other question, guys? Anything else? Okay. So, next, I'm going to explain you about the Q&A site that we have. We have two question and answer site. So we have a question and answer site under software testing board. So you can go to softwaretestingboard.com/Q&A. You will have to log in or register to use this site. This is a typical question answer site where you can post a question, and there'll be we have a large community, so people can answer that. So going further, if you have any question related to software testing, you can come here and ask it, and you can always expect an answer from the community members. And this meetup, whatever we organized, it will be archived, and you can find it out in a software test at softwaretestingboard.com/meetups. So this is our seventh meetup, and we'll be creating page for this seventh meetup in a while. You can see it by Monday. And to for all past six meetup, if you want to see the presentation and video, a recorded video, you can go to the softwaretestingboard.com/meetups, and you can choose the meetup that you want to have a look at. So how do you become a speaker? So to become a speaker, again, as Mahesh Patil has asked, how can I be given overview of FX course? So Mahesh, this is again for you. You can fill out this Google form. So this link is available on this presentation. So you can find this in a softwaretestingboard.com/meetups and presentation, or you can go to slideshare.net so and search for software testing board, and you can come to this presentation. You can find this Google form to be filled. uh, Apart from that, this same form is also embedded in our software testing board.com/meetup website. So you can go to this about meetup, and at the bottom of the page you can find this form. You can fill up this form, and we'll contact you back with the more information on how to become a speaker. Apart from that, the same form link, you can also find it in a uh, channel. So you can go to softwaretestingboard.com channel and you can check out this about section. And in the about section, you can see how can I be a speaker at the next meetup, and this is a form. You can use this link to fill up this form, and we'll contact you further. So next thing, we are also available on LinkedIn and YouTube. You can follow our LinkedIn page for more update from us. This is a showcase page, so link is provided in the present same presentation. And we are also available on Facebook, Twitter, and to search us and go and follow us on a YouTube. You can go to YouTube and search for software testing board, and you can click on subscribe and press the bell icon, so you can always be notified for the next meetup. So this is all from our end. Again, just have a look at the questions. There are no more questions as well. Thank you, Sanket and Sashank. If anybody want to contact us, you can go to softwaretestingboard.com/contact us, and these are our other social media profiles. Uh, so thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for support. And thank you, Sashank and Sanket again. I'll talk to you
Uh,
soon.
yeah, and guys, those who are still having any doubts regarding the previous presentation made by Sanket or anything done by me, just feel free to ask over LinkedIn or just post it anything related to such queries so that we can help you and in order to help you we can gain something. So that's my personal and professional request as well. So
Great.
looking forward for it.
Right. So yeah, that's right. So their LinkedIn profile is
Yeah,
available in the presentation.
yeah,
Sanket, this is Sanket's profile. You can click on this link, and you can always go to Sanket's profile. And this is linked to Sashank's profile.
that's my
You
profile.
can,
And moreover, I have shared my cell number and private.
yes, that presentation will be making it attaching in softwaretestingboard.com/meetups. So by Monday, you will be able to see the presentation with complete detail over there.
Okay, fair enough. That's
All right. So thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot for the time, and it was wonderful meetup. Bye bye, everyone.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Take care.